What if I told you that an entire generation has been quietly rewired? Not by trauma, not by war, not by poverty, but by the glowing rectangle we carry in our pockets. What if the anxiety, depression, loneliness, identity confusion, and social collapse we're witnessing aren't random at all, but the predictable outcome of a massive, unintended psychological experiment on our children and ourselves? Jonathan Haidt says this isn't a theory, it's a crisis. And the longer we ignore it, the more anxious and fragile our society becomes. Today we are diving deep into The Anxious Generation, a book that doesn't just diagnose the problem. It exposes the roots, the mechanisms, and the painful truth every parent, young adult, and leader needs to hear. By the end of this summary, you'll understand why anxiety is rising, how our digital lifestyles reshape the brain, and, most importantly, what you can actually do to reclaim your life, your focus, and your mental resilience. Let's dive in. The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, a social psychologist and NYT best-selling author, is one of the most important books ever written about the mental health crisis. Haidt gathers research from neuroscience, sociology, psychology, and education to show how smartphones, social media, and overprotected childhoods created the most anxious generation in modern history. He doesn't just warn, he offers a roadmap out. Now let's break down the key insights into 10 deep, engaging lessons. Lesson 1. Childhood has shifted from play-based to phone-based. Haidt explains that for thousands of years, childhood was shaped by rough-and-tumble play, real-world exploration, responsibility, and face-to-face social learning. Kids developed courage, independence, risk, management, and emotional resilience by doing hard things. But around the early 2010s, childhood radically transformed. Kids now spend their free time online, indoors, and isolated. Playgrounds have been replaced by screens, friendships by followers, discovery by scrolling. This shift didn't just change habits, it rewired brains. Real-life viewpoint. Think of a 12-year-old boy in 2005. He rode bikes with friends, climbed trees, broke a few things, got into trouble, and learned his limits. Now imagine a 12-year-old in 2024. He sits in his room, scrolling TikTok for hours, afraid to go outside, afraid of embarrassment, afraid of life. One childhood builds resilience. The other builds anxiety. Lesson 2. Overprotection in the real world. Created fragile minds. Haidt shows that adults have become increasingly fearful, limiting outdoor play, independence, walking alone, and normal childhood challenges. When children aren't allowed to face small risks, they grow up unable to handle big ones. Overprotection creates low problem-solving ability, heightened fear responses, dependency on adults, emotional fragility. Ironically, we protected kids from life and exposed them to the far greater dangers of the digital world. Real-life viewpoint. A school principal once shared how parents now call to complain about other children not being nice to their kids. Years ago, kids learned conflict resolution naturally through play. Now they are shielded from discomfort, leaving them unequipped for real-life challenges. Lesson 3. The phone-based childhood is a mental health bomb. Haidt identifies 2010-2015 as a turning point. During these years, smartphone adoption and social media use skyrocketed among preteens. Not coincidentally, rates of anxiety, depression, self-harm, and suicide soared, especially among girls. Why? Because social media amplifies comparison, exclusion, bullying, appearance anxiety, social pressure. A brain that hasn't developed yet is suddenly exposed to curated perfection and public criticism, 24/7. Real-life viewpoint. A 14-year-old girl posts a photo. She anxiously waits for likes. She deletes the picture if it doesn't perform. Her self-worth rises and falls with notifications. She's not online, she's being shaped. Lesson 4. Boys are retreating into digital escapes. While girls suffer through comparison and social judgment, boys are drowning in video games, YouTube, and pornography. They are disconnecting from the real world, losing motivation, social skills, and ambition. Haidt explains that boys are especially vulnerable to digital cocoons because these worlds provide reward, control, and escape with no effort. The result? A generation of boys who struggle with relationships, purpose, and long-term goals. Real-life viewpoint. A father told Haidt that his 17-year-old son refuses to get a job, rarely leaves his room, and stays up all night gaming. He isn't lazy. He's trapped in a digital comfort zone so stimulating that real life feels unbearable. Lesson 5. Social media hijacks the brain's reward systems. Haidt dives deep into neuroscience here. Apps are engineered to trigger dopamine loops that keep users hooked. Notifications equals reward. Likes equals validation. Algorithms equals behavioral manipulation. Children and teens lack the neurological maturity to resist these engineered addictions. This isn't accidental. It's by design. Real-life viewpoint. A teenage girl wakes up at 3 a.m. and checks her phone instinctively. She isn't choosing this behavior. Her brain has been conditioned. She's not addicted to her phone. Her phone is addicted to her. Lesson 6. The collapse of community is feeding anxiety. With screens replacing face-to-face interactions, young people are less socially skilled, less connected, and more lonely. Community, once the anchor of human resilience, has weakened dramatically. Haidt argues that loneliness is now the silent epidemic fueling mental illness. Without real interaction, touch, and shared activities, the human mind starves. Real-life viewpoint. University counselors report that first-year students struggle to make friends or hold conversations. They have thousands of online connections, yet feel completely alone. Lesson 7. Identity has become digital and fragile. Haidt explains that constant exposure to online scrutiny makes young people hyper-aware of how they appear to others. This leads to identity confusion, overthinking, fear of judgment, performance anxiety. Young people start performing rather than living, editing rather than experiencing. Real-life viewpoint. A teen shared that she feels fake because every decision she makes, what she wears, what she eats, where she goes, must be Instagrammable. She's living life for an audience, not for herself. Lesson 8. Schools are overwhelmed and unprepared. Academic pressure is rising alongside digital addiction. Teachers now deal with attention problems, emotional outbursts, fragile students. Bullying amplified. Online schools were designed for learning, not mental health crises. Yet they are now forced to act as therapists, police officers, and digital monitors. Real-life viewpoint. One teacher said, "My students can't focus for more than 8 minutes. I'm teaching children with adult problems and adult distractions." Lesson 9. Families must rebuild real-world experiences. Haidt gives actionable solutions, emphasizing that parents can't fight this individually. They must create collective rules. Key recommendations. No smartphones before high school. Delay social media until 16. Encourage outdoor play. Reintroduce household responsibility. Create screen-free zones. The goal is to restore a real-life childhood. Real-life viewpoint. A family banned phones during meals and after 9 p.m. Within weeks, siblings began talking more, fighting less, and spending time outside again. What changed? They re-entered the real world. Lesson 10. A new childhood is possible, but it requires courage. Haidt ends with hope. We can rebuild a healthier, more resilient generation, but only if we collectively challenge the norms that caused this crisis. It means saying no to digital pressures and yes to independence, real play, social interaction, emotional resilience. The anxious generation can become the strong generation, but only if we act now. Real-life viewpoint. A group of parents in one neighborhood created a play collective where kids roam freely together after school. No phones allowed. This single decision transformed confidence, friendships, and happiness. One small change, massive impact. Now it's your turn. Do you think phones are destroying childhood? Should social media have age limits? Have you or someone you know felt the effects Jonathan Haidt describes? Share your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your experiences. And if you enjoyed this deep, eye-opening breakdown, remember, the summary shelf is where powerful books come alive. We take complex ideas, extract the gold, and give you tools to level up your life, mentally, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. So make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned. because the next summary might just be the one that transforms your mindset forever. See you in the next video.